Welcome to the Festival of Storytellers. I thank everybody that's involved with this process because we know writers need readers and writers need publishers.
Experience is not about the publisher, it is about us, the authors.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this Festival of Storytellers. My name is Mabel Kane, and this is the title of my book, Beautiful. I hope you can see it really nicely. There you go. Beautiful. And I will explain the author. I will explain the topic to you and how I came to use the word beautiful. Okay. Remember, we share your story to the world, and always remember that. And we definitely thank you for coming to watch this session and to watch other sessions. So thank you very much. So today, speaking about, let me tell you a little bit about myself first. My name is Mabel Kane. I am a registered nurse, and I've been a registered nurse for a very long time. I'm also an adult educator. I have a degree in adult education, a master's degree in adult education, and a master's degree in nursing, and also a registered nurse, an RN in nursing as well, because I did them separately. So, yeah, 3 separate degrees. Okay, I came to write this book, Beautiful, because of my own experience in menopause. This book is about menopause and what to expect. Control your physical, mental, and spiritual self through menopause. It's a guidebook for women. Wherever you go, whatever literature you pick up, wherever you go, at least in the West, I cannot speak for what happens in the East, but I can tell you from England to America to everything else in the West, Canada, etc., there is no information on menopause. You can find information online, but you cannot find a doctor, or at least I couldn't find a doctor, and most of my friends, all my acquaintances that I know, all my doctors, all my teachers, all my students, none of them have ever found a doctor who is willing to discuss menopause with them. Now, I am not a doctor, but I'm an educator. I have done research on menopause. Besides, I'm female. I have experienced menopause. So therefore, I have the opportunity to discuss this with you in a way that you can understand. Now, there aren't a lot of medical jargons in this book because I don't want you to have to go to a dictionary to understand what I'm talking about. Hence, this book is very easy to read. It's very it's very understandable, and it has a readability score of about grade 8 to grade 9. So you don't have to actually look up any words on the internet or look up any words on in a dictionary, because everything is explained in simple, everyday, common language. And if you've gone to elementary school, then if you've finished elementary school, then you can understand this book. And that was purposeful, because in adult education, we learn that one of the theories that we learn is that adults can teach themselves. But adults will not be able to teach themselves if the words are so complicated and so long that they have to always turn to a dictionary, and then they will lose interest. So that's one of the reasons why I made it really simple and for everybody to understand. Okay, so let's start about the title. Why do you think there is not much discussion about menopause? Cassandra is asking me, even from the medical field. You know, Cassandra, that is the ultimate question. It is the ultimate question because I've been going to, I'm a registered nurse for God's sakes. I've been working with adults all my life, a little bit of children, but mostly adults. I've had read textbook this thick with this much information and menopause. And it's just mentioned and just discarded. And that is a really wonderful question. And I don't think I have all the answers for you, but I have some of the answers for you. I think most of our textbooks are written by men. Not all, but most. And what do men know about menopause, really? They don't know much. And I can tell you, I have lots of statistics to show that they don't know. And we can't blame them for not knowing because, listen, we are the women. We go through menopause and we don't know anything about it either. So when I approached that time of my life, it was very, very, very devastating. And no doctors. I was sick. I was living in Florida at the time, and I was on my way to see clients, and I had this overwhelming feeling of foreboding, like I was going to die. And I had pain in my chest, pain in my neck, pain in my arm. I thought I was having a heart attack. So being a nurse, I know, these are symptoms of heart attack. You need to get yourself to a hospital. So I promptly got myself into a hospital. They did all the blood work and everything, gave me oxygen and everything. Came back nothing, no signs and symptoms of heart attack. The doctor promptly told me that I was having anxiety, and he prescribed Ativan. It happened twice, and he prescribed Ativan. Ativan is a tranquilizer. So I took the Ativan. It did help. The symptoms did subside. I did not have a heart attack. Have not had a heart attack, thank God. But he didn't tell me that I was approaching menopause or I was perimenopausal. He did not tell me that. And those are the symptoms. And it was subsequent to that, many years after, that I began to connect the dots, many years after, that I realized that, wow, those are symptoms of menopause. And it's a sin, really, that so many women don't know. Hi, Jessa. Thank you for coming and visiting with us and listening to this. Thank you. Do you think it's because menopause is commonly thought of as end of womanhood? George, I could actually shake your hand if you were. I'm going to shake your hand because you have touched upon something extremely important. Yes, it is because I'm from Jamaica, and when a woman reaches menopause in Jamaica, I always heard this phrase, "Oh, she's all dried up." Okay, and I heard that phrase when I was young, and I didn't understand it. She's all dried up, and yes, it is. It is because, first of all, women are ashamed. Women are ashamed to let anybody know that they are in menopause. The doctors are ashamed themselves to actually discuss it with a woman. And I'm not sure why the doctors are ashamed. They don't even ask the woman because nobody ever asked me, and nobody ever asked my friends who are menopausal whether or not they think, or how do they feel about being in menopause. But I think so. I think the most important reason, George, listen to this, okay? And you can tell me if I'm wrong. I think the most significant reason, and because I've been going through a long time, and I can tell you the most significant reason is that when a woman reaches menopause, she is considered to be no longer sexy. Yes, I did say the word. She is considered to be no longer sexy. And you know why? First of all, her own libido decreases. The woman's libido decreases significantly. You know why? Because she's lost her sex hormone. Uh, Um, Estrogen is a sex hormone, and progesterone. She's lost it. It doesn't. You don't lose it 100%. Like right, it doesn't cut off like that. It gradually recedes until it goes down to zero. Okay, and on the progesterone, which helps to for her moods and help with the digestion of carbohydrates and all those things, no longer there. So she starts to get thick in the waist, and she started to put on weight, and she starts to not look sexy anymore with a tiny waist, and and the perky breasts and all that, and the perky bum, and that men admire so much. Between the ages of 35 and 50, a British study shows. So happy you're back, Mabel. Your words and insights have given me a lot to think about. Ella, thank you, darling. And I'm going to tell you that there's a study in England that demonstrated that most not divorces. I have to find out when most divorces occur. I think that's an unfortunate truth. Women are celebrated when they're blooming and young, but this appreciation dies down with age. Isn't that the truth? Even their own husbands, even your own husbands. But sometimes, you know, I'm going to give the husbands a little bit of a room because they don't know that this is why your body changes. You know, when you're young, up to 30, they cut off, textbooks cut off the time to have children at 35. So the best time to have children is between the ages of 18 and 35, which is the best times when your sex hormone is fulminant. It's all over the place. You have tons of it. Your skin is nice and smooth. You have gorgeous figure. And don't forget the pheromones. You actually smell sexy to men. And this is one of the reasons why it's unfortunate there is so much misinformation about menopause as Eloise. Isn't there? Isn't unfortunate? It is so unfortunate. It is so fortunate that they don't even teaching it in schools, and menopause is the end of menstruation. So I don't understand how you can teach menstruation in school and not teach the end of menstruation. It just doesn't compute. There is an absolute disconnect. And I think too, I go back to the thing that all our systems are initiated and engineered by men. Men write the textbooks, men rules the schools, how society perceives menopause. That's from Kelly. How society perceives menopause reflects what it typically values in women. I was just coming to that sentence, Kelly. Absolutely. This is not just a personal thing. This is a societal thing. The entire society wants nothing at all to do with women who are in menopause. And did you know that 40%, I've said this before, but 40%, most most domestic violence occurs within the menopausal period. You know why? Because there are I'm just saying, I'm guessing, the article didn't say that, but there is a tension between in the sexual tension because of the sexual tensions that erupt. It doesn't matter that the man is going through his thing. He does go through his thing, but he can go to the corner store and get something to perform. Not so the woman. She has to go through these long things that affect every single solitary system in her body, and whether or not she feels it, whether or not she has hot flashes, whether or not she's in the east or in the west, her body is still going through that. She is still feeling unsexy. She is still feeling all these things. And then the man in her life let's say the West, because in other places in the East, the woman covers herself up, so nobody sees anything, you know? So really, I'm going back to the fact that because the men control, they have so much control over women's lives, and women don't control their own lives. If women control our lives and control the textbooks, and at least have input in what is taught in schools and what is taught in nursing and medicine and all that, they would be better. Margaret, thank you. How do you think we can change the negative perspective around menopause? You know what? That's just extremely loaded question, Margaret, and I thank you so much for it because I am doing my little bit in my little corner. That's what I'm doing. And I'm doing it because my journey through menopause was absolutely painful. I mean, I came close. I came so close to going over the edge. You cannot even begin to imagine. And then I said to myself, this is ridiculous. This is a normal physiological process. Why do I have to feel like this? Why does it have to be like this? My husband doesn't understand me, my children doesn't understand me, my workplace doesn't understand what you're going through. There is no sort of understanding about the physiological change, right? The lack of education might just show how this is a seemingly embarrassing and shameful concept. It is not, well, seemingly is a good word there for you to use. Yes, Cassandra, it's seemingly, but it shouldn't be, because if menstruation is not embarrassing, why should menopause be embarrassing? If childbirth is not embarrassing, why should menopause be embarrassing? I don't understand it. People whisper. When you actually talk, you can't even talk about menopause with a group of women. When I talk to 30 to 35-year-olds who are actually perimenopausal, they don't know that, but they are. And this is one of the reasons why the textbooks tell you or suggest that you don't become pregnant over 35, because really whatever is left in your ovaries, they're not really good. Okay, those ovaries are not good enough, and something can happen to the child. So that you conceive. So it's better to have your children before. So when I was having my children, I stopped at exactly age 34, and I told my husband, under absolutely no circumstances, I'm gonna share it with you, am I going to have intercourse after, unless you are, you know, protected, because I don't want to get accidentally pregnant and then go through the process on the pain of trying to find out if this child that I'm pregnant with could have abnormalities. Nowadays, women wait on have babies in their 50s and all that, and good on them. Look good on them. I have nothing to say about that. They can do whatever they want. But I'm trying to tell you that physiologically, the body, okay, your body is not equipped to have. You're not Sarah, unless you're Sarah. Are you Sarah? Sarah got pregnant in the Bible, got pregnant at 99, I think. But unless you're Sarah, try and have your babies between the ages of 18 and 35. I'm just saying, if you want not normal, good, healthy baby, and something for yourself, and left something over for yourself to carry you through to the end of menopause. But you can do whatever you like with your life. It's your life. But back to education. Education, can you imagine educating the entire world, I mean, the entire Western world about menopause? Can you imagine what it would take to do that? I can't imagine. Just the thought of it overwhelms me. So that's the reason why I wrote this book. I wrote the book to help women to understand that there is indeed a connection between the mental, the physical, and the spiritual self. And all of this becomes disembodied. All of this is held together with all of those three triune parts of yourself are held together by your hormones. I'm just saying. You may not think that, but the woman who is going through menopause will definitely tell you, yes, I felt like I was just, some women feel like they are just going to jump over the bridge. That's how they feel. And that's because there is a disconnect. The hormone progesterone is the hormone that helps to keep your mood normal. Betty, it's so mind boggling how this isn't talked about a lot, especially when menopause can influence women's chances of pregnancy. Well, Betty, you can get pregnant during perimenopause. Some women, perimenopause is the period around menopause, yes. You can get pregnant, but there is a risk to the baby. Just saying. So you really have to follow up and you have to do all these tests and DNA tests and stuff like that to make sure the fetus is normal and it's not going to come out, um, something wrong with the brain or whatever it is, developmental issues and things like that. But your doctor should be telling you that. I can tell you this now, but I'm only telling a few people here. The whole world doesn't know. Most of the people in the world don't know this. Okay, and that's where the rubber hits the road. Education, education, and it is my aim. I don't know how I'm going to get it there. I just don't know how I'm going to get there, but I can't do it without your help. My aim is to get this in the schools so that girls start to learn it and boys start to learn it because the men want to know. The men want to know. It's not that they don't want to know, they do want to know. But they don't know. And when their wives become moody and not interested in relationships, they they will understand and be more compassionate, okay? And because of their lack of understanding, this gives rise to tension in the home because men have this huge, humongous sexual appetite. And the man is up there, way past my arm to the ceiling, and the woman is down here, like down here. That's where she is because she has lost her sex hormones. And also, the man doesn't find her, is less physically attracted to her because of the reduction in her sex hormone. So, Ella Powell, I do believe this education should also be given to men. Absolutely. It shouldn't just be a concept women learn because their husbands or families should also know how to manage once this happens. Ella, you are absolutely right. This book is written so that even children can read it, your daughters and your sons. Yesterday, I gave it to a 22-year-old. He was ecstatic. He wanted to read it. And he says, "Oh, I want to read it for my mother." And I says, "Good." I says, "Well, after you finish reading it, you give it to your mother. Okay, but you're going to benefit from the information in here when you have a spouse. Okay." And I think it should be taught in school right across the board, boys and girls, as soon when they start their sex education. I think that's the time. It's an appropriate time that they should be learning about menopause. Menopause. The fact that it's whispered about and women are ashamed. Can you imagine that? Women are ashamed for anybody to know that they are experiencing menopause symptoms. And when they get a hot flash in their job or at church or on the choir, or everybody is just looking at them and they start to fan vigorously and they are ashamed and people start to whisper and it makes me want to cry right about now. It is so heartbreaking because a woman isn't, you think a woman would just willingly give up her hormones like that? The hormones that make her feel sexy and beautiful and give her smooth skin and perky breasts and perky butt and tiny waist? No, a woman wouldn't do it. This is, I wouldn't do it. I don't know any woman out there who would willingly give it up, but this is life. This is a journey for a woman. And so it is up to us to, I thought it was up to me to start I've started the ball rolling. I don't know how far this is going to go, but I need your help to to get the message out. I need your help. I need you to point people to this book, your friends, your relatives, your husbands, your brothers and your sisters who plan to get married or get into a relationship. They can benefit from this book. And I was going to tell you that I said this before in one of my sessions, but I was saying most domestic violence issues arise. Can you believe it? Arise during the menopausal period, or perimenopausal period. And the study in Britain that just came out in 2022, I think, suggested that up to 40% of women get murdered. 40% of women who get murdered in domestic violence situations, 40%, 4 out of 10 of them are menopausal or perimenopausal. So there is a link. There is a link between domestic issues, domestic violence, domestic issues, a severe link, a very strong link between a woman going through menopause and domestic violence issues. Because as soon as a man cannot get sex, what do you think he does? He becomes violent. Or if he doesn't become violent, he goes out and finds someone new. And this is one of the reasons why you have so many men who are attracted to young women and bring and go after what they need to satisfy their sexual desires, because fundamentally they do not know what what their wife or their partner is going through. They just don't know. I don't think they know. I don't think, I love men. I love men a lot. I'm sorry, women, but I really do. And I love the company of men. I just love being around men. But do you think it's because of the decreased sex drive, Cassandra? I think the decreased sex drive, the decreased libido in women or decreased sex drive in women causes men to get angry because their needs are not being met. Now they have an outsized sex drive, okay, even when they have difficulty with that part of it. But if you notice, you can buy something at the corner store just so to perform for that night. Okay, so they don't have that issue. Just because they're not strong in that situation does not mean that their drive isn't there. Their drive is there. What lifestyle changes can help women cope or better manage menopause? That's coming from Sean, right? What lifestyle changes? Well, it's in my book. You got to read it. I can't tell you everything. I've already told you too much, Sean. Please get a copy and I can tell you. And the book will tell you what to do. The topic is this is Zuri show. The topic is very educational for us women. Thank you, Mabel. I'm new here in your booth. Oh, thank you for coming to my booth. Yes, it is very educational. I'm an educator at heart, and I love to teach. And I have a group of women in my neighborhood that I will be teaching about this. I'm hoping once they know that this service is available to them, that they will bring their spouses, because the women need to learn, but the men need to learn too. The men need to know, because you can't blame somebody for doing something that they don't know. Thank you for coming to this Festival of Stories and listening to Mabel Kane at Beautiful. That's my book. Thank you for coming.